Hi, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema Generic Ad.
Join us every Wednesday as we talk about films that seem to be forgotten by audiences, whether it be because a more popular movie was released at the same time or the film simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the film, maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. You never know, you might find your own forgotten gem. Forgotten Cinema is available wherever you get your podcasts or at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or ForgottenEntertainment.com, as we are a proud part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
I swear I talk more in the episodes.
Hello, and welcome to Recent Activity, your new favorite entertainment review podcast that attempts to cover every film, every show, all at once. I am your co-host, Andrew Morgan. With me, as always, representing Eagle Fang Karate, the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Shane Beauregard. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm ready for this, and I feel like I have to carry some extra burden because we're missing a homie tonight.
We are.
So we're going to do a lot of Marvel talk, and he's going to miss out. But I'm going to pour one out for Chris tonight.
I think in a way, this conversation needs to happen without Chris. And I don't mean any disrespect to him. I love him. Chris is on assignment right now, lamping it up. He's on a family vacation. Good for him. The reason why I said that, though, is A, because he hates the moniker he keeps getting of Mr. Marvel from his friends and whatever else. And slowly we're, being, maybe quite harsh on Marvel in terms of that. But we were going to do a lot of D23 talk up front because that happened over the weekend. And that is kind of the anti-Chris, because Chris hates trailers. He doesn't want to know a lot. He's kind of loves to go in cold. So honestly, I think we're more saving Chris than we are dissing.
You make a good point. Actually, you make a good point, sir.
Yeah. So what we're going to do today, later on in the show, as you may have noticed by me mentioning Eagle Fang Karate right up top, we are going to discuss the latest season of Cobra Kai from Netflix that did air over the weekend. So we will get into that later on. But Shane, I just kind of want to shoot the shit with you about the weekend, because it was kind of insane between D23. Then we also have the Toronto International Film Festivals going on. So, and then awards from the last festivals like Venice came out too, where I kind of almost want to look at the weekend through somewhat of the prism of the fall preview draft we just had, which if you guys haven't heard that episode, that was our episode last week, where we all drafted in certain categories of the stuff that we are anticipating coming up in the next few months. And a lot of the stuff that came out over the weekend kind of goes hand in hand with what we picked. And the two things that come out, obviously, Cobra Kai, which we'll get you, that was your draft pick. So that happened over the weekend. Plus Barbarian came out over the weekend. That was one of Chris's picks. So, we'll get into that probably next week when he comes back. But man, good reviews for that movie, I should say, by the way. And then D23, you got my pick, Wakanda Forever. A lot of chatter about that. Apparently, they showed a trailer to the audience there, which a lot of people are, going crazy because it's a different switch stance. That first trailer was kind of like this, very melodramatic, kind of sappy, making us cry kind of one. And I guess this one they characterized, I don't know if you read anything about it, but it kind of was like a show of strength trailer.
I did. I read up on it when you shot me that article because but yeah, I'm interested in the plot of that movie now as people are trying to raid Wakanda of their vibranium, knowing that their leader is fallen. So I do like that angle that they're coming in at.
Yeah, the Neymar thing on top of other nations maybe coming in as they're vulnerable after T'Challa dies. So that's a big story and a big part of that, and I'm into that. So I'm hoping for the best, and people who said they saw the trailer or any additional scene stuff were really encouraged still, and I'm happy for that because that was, like I said, one of my picks in the draft. Also, just at Toronto, the new Steven Spielberg movie with The Fabelmans, which was a pick of Chris's, that got very high reviews. Almost everybody said positive things, and some people put in their tweets Best Picture nominee, blah, 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 all of that stuff. So, Spielberg seems to have a hit on his hands with that as well. And then my pick in the Oscar category stuff, The Banshees of Inisherin won awards out of Venice. And all of these movies seem to have at least a 3.9, 4.0, 4.1 kind of reviews ratings out of those festivals. So I think we nailed it, Shane, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, and I heard about this, which I don't know how much stock you could put in these things, but I did hear about the standing ovation that Colin Farrell and that cast got from that movie when he was viewed.
Yeah,
which is pretty impressive. So I am actually more on board with that movie because, again, I kind of forgot about that movie until you brought it up during our draft. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Forgot about that movie. But yeah, so nothing but positive things I'm hearing. So I'm really excited. And I'm excited for The Whale, which none of us picked.
Right.
But I heard that he also got a very long standing ovation from his portrayal in that movie.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting Best Actor race when you and I both were championing at least his performance, the movie as well, but to a different extent, Austin Butler with Elvis. So those two going head to head, and then who knows between either Colin Farrell maybe or anyone from the Fabelmans, or I can probably go through a litany of other candidates, but those two in particular between Brendan Fraser and Austin Butler, that will be a very, very tough race right there.
Right. I agree. But, Darren, or I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Aronofsky.
Yeah, it's always 50-50 with his movies with me. So, but I'll give this one a shot because I want to see the performance. And now my interest is piqued in seeing this performance by Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I mean, especially for a movie that seems to be for Aronofsky, it seems more to lean towards the wrestler version of his catalog versus, say Mother or something batshit that he likes to make. So that kind of flies in the face of some of maybe his other catalog. But this definitely being based off a play. You have some mainstream people like Frasier. Sadie Sink is in this as well, and getting good marks for her performance too. So this will be interesting. But as far as the weekend goes, D23 did dominate more often than not. And were there any? There was maybe I don't know, about 7 to 10 trailers that came out. Various degrees, whether they liked ones that have extreme controversy, like the Little Mermaid thing, which, by the way, my God, it shouldn't shock me to this point, but just the level of bored racists on the internet just are like, hey, that don't look what I want it to look like kind of thing, conversations. I don't know what we're supposed to do with this anymore, but frankly, like I said to you, I'm like, I think it's, stop remaking stuff that you won't have these kind of comments. And then also, guess what? Old man yelling at cloud. It's not for you. The movie's not for you anymore. I'm sorry, you may have to take a small child to it, but it's not for you. So are you kind of on that same page? I don't have any answers.
No, I don't. It's just ignore it the best you can and just tell people to get over it. And just if it upsets you that much, just don't freaking watch it because it'd be watched by plenty of other people who want to see it. So, like my kids are going to want to see it more than likely. So,
right,
like you say, go back under your racist rock and just live your ignorant life. I guess is all I can say.
They really need to mark those racist rocks to know the difference between which one's a racist rock and a not racist rock. But I guess it's funny because I'm saying that I'm couching this whole thing about hey, this isn't for you, which people have told me years ago, hey, if you have a problem with Marvel and Star Wars, maybe that's not for you anymore. I'm like, I beg to differ. They're not for children if there's so much murder, or at least I would hope. But there is something to say about that, especially because the things that did pique my interest are things that maybe do veer maybe towards our age level or what we liked about the things that were in our, prime viewing of Marvel or Star Wars. And I guess we could just start there. So the Star Wars stuff that I liked, I'm more on Team Mandalorian more than I am caring about, say, Andor or this new animated show that kind of pitches more Jedi period stuff of say the Rebels period and stuff like that. I guess that's really where I'm at. I am fine with stuff that makes me feel like the original trilogy or talks in that language. But once you start getting into I have to care about the prequels and before, I really don't care that much. And it has to be such varying degrees. And that's why I like The Mandalorian. It rides right in the middle of all that and it just does its own thing. Did you like the trailer for that one? Are you in?
I did, and we've talked a little off here, but Mandalorian is the only show I'm all in on as far as these new batch of Disney shows or Star Wars shows that have been coming out.
Sure.
But I think we both discussed, or both were talking about, the trailer looked good, but I'm a little leery on some of the story points that were shown in the trailers. Like, how far can you really keep, carrying this on?
Yeah. And
I'm with you. Admittingly, the Andor trailer looked good, but they can go screw themselves. I am not watching that show. Like, fool me once, fool me twice. I'm out on Andor. And like you, I shouldn't have to watch the animated shows to fill in the gaps from the actual TV shows.
Yeah. The whole it's canon argument is exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was an issue with the shitty Ewan McGregor movie that just
Obi-Wan,
yeah. Yeah, sorry, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
You're like, well, you need to go back. And I'm like, no, I'm not going back and watching animated shows.
Right.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Not going to do it. So, again, maybe Star Wars is not for me. Maybe it was never for me. But Mando, I'm in on at least for another season.
Yeah, absolutely. It rang all the right bells. It's bringing in a lot of the same issues we saw either in that Boba Fett, AKA Mando 2.5 season 2.5 that they did before they're doing the official 3 here, where he removed his helmet, which is a big problem. That's my biggest problem around the house too, is I'm always removing my helmet when I shouldn't be, just scaring the children. But I like that divide though between he's kind of like a man on a mission. It's him and baby Grogu here, just on their own. Samurai and cub situation that they're going to keep repeating and having to enter into new worlds, new big bad. So kind of a lot of the same, but maybe a little bit more from your girl there, Katie Sackhoff, and that group there.
We can only hope.
Yeah. It looks interesting. I mean, again, it's only a teaser, and I don't know exactly. They keep just saying 2023 for that. I don't know when they're going to do that, but I think it's been now about a year, right? Or almost since the last one, or even more.
I think we're past a year at this point.
Yeah, because Book of Boba Fett was in the winter time.
Correct.
So I don't know if that was around. It was around Hawkeye time, right? Or like right after Hawkeye, and Hawkeye was at the holiday mark, right?
Yeah, that's about right.
So yeah, time flies, but they haven't exactly given us much to chew on in that world, I guess. Especially with how bad Obi-Wan was. Thanks for bringing that up.
I know. Sorry, had to, man. Had to.
I know. But there were some things I did like, so we can get more into after. See, because God, Star Wars just needs, and I know we give Marvel a lot of crap, but they need a better version than they're getting with Kathleen Kennedy. They need more of a Kevin Feige. They need someone to really steer this ship and just kind of know when things are coming in the momentum of show after show, because they just don't have it. Or maybe it doesn't deserve it. And that's part of the thing I've been reckoning with Star Wars for years, is that maybe outside of the Skywalker saga, where are these other stories that are going to pique my interest? And maybe I'm just out, but because there are a lot of dedicated fans, but maybe I'm just out.
Yeah, as I said, I've been out after the Skywalker.
Yeah, but we keep
saga.
returning, man. We keep returning.
I know.
So we'll see where it goes. But as far as the Marvel properties go, I will say a few things did actually impress me. The first and foremost, the trailer for Secret Invasion, I think, was probably the thing that piqued my interest the most, between bringing Nick Fury back into the fold and kind of giving us more of the Captain America Winter Soldier vibe, that kind of, going in the shadows, trying to take down a larger enemy, this time with the Kree, is a lot more interesting. And bringing in one of my favorite actors, one of the best actresses going right now, in Olivia Colman, into the show, as well as bringing other old characters back into the fray. But this feeling like a paranoid thriller, in a sci-fi realm, really piques my interest. Did you like this as well?
That was the best trailer I saw all weekend from D23.
Yeah.
And I hope it delivers, because again, we rag on Star Wars, but we mentioned before on this show, the last several Marvel shows they sucked. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah.
They need a bona fide hit. And I don't care what the critics keep giving these shitty shows that are on now, but I like the old haggard Nick Fury look. Olivia Colman, as you mentioned, but for me, bringing in Daenerys
Targaryen.
Targaryen into the fold.
Yeah.
I like Emilia Clarke. So, and I don't know what kind of role she's playing, but it was a tight trailer and it had me excited. Finally, for a new Marvel property that's coming out. So I didn't see when this is coming out. Is it 2020? It's probably next year. Obviously.
Yeah, I think this is spring or summer. So I think it's coming up relatively soon.
So, God, they need a hit. They need to hit this one out of the park.
They do. And I'm actually just more floored that I care about anything that is kind of revolving in the universe of Captain Marvel after I didn't like that movie. Ugh. So the fact that we're kind of like still going back in there and still getting something from that is impressive. And it's smart of them to go this route with Nick Fury because he has kind of been in the shadows. The interesting thing, though, I know is that I believe Secret Invasion is first and then the Marvels is after. So it'll be interesting to see that timeline because he is in both properties, Nick Fury. And he looks in much better shape in the Marvel. So I guess Secret Invasion maybe won't end up so badly for him after all, unless we're just going to be in wild reshoot territory or any of these other things that Marvel ends up getting into all the time because they just keep messing with that timeline. And messing with the timeline is kind of their thing these days because everything is multiverse. And I guess maybe some of the better things for me is, they brought up stuff about Loki season 2 at D23. They added Ke-Huy Quan, which from Everything Everywhere All at Once in more recent parlance. So he's on quite a streak getting into Loki after that. Also loved seeing him because they brought up a lot of Indiana Jones stuff this weekend. He made a nice joke that he's like, wait, this is Indiana Jones panel that I'm on. So that was pretty fun. And seeing pictures of him and Harrison Ford, hugging and taking photos all weekend warmed my heart, even though Temple of Doom is a clear third in that original trilogy. I still watch the crap out of that movie and I love that whole stuff. But yeah, so he's been added to Loki season 2. Loki, to me, is probably the best show that they had in the Disney Plus universe up to this point. Mileage may vary, I guess, as you're making a face there, Shane. But I'll say for myself, I believe that to be true. And honestly, now it really has to be because everything is multiverse. Everything's fucking with time. Everything's about Kang. And they brought in the whole Quantumania thing with Ant-Man, and I guess they had a scene or something from there where I guess that is going to be what Quantumania is about, a time heist at the behest of Kang after he kidnaps Scott Lang's daughter and things like that. So that is starting to move along as well. Are you getting multiverse out? Is this like just adding more to the I need something to get here, or I don't know?
Yeah, I'm kind of like straddling that line because, like you said, they keep messing with the damn timeline, and it just confuses me. It's just more confusing to me now more than ever because, like we mentioned on this show before, you had Loki messing with the timeline, then you had the Spider-Man movie messing with the timeline. It's like, then you had Doctor Strange. I'm like,
right.
So what is the order? It's all confusing to me. But I agree with you. Like Loki, I can debate it, but it's definitely one of my 2 favorite shows that they've come out with so far. I love Tom Hiddleston, and I am excited to see that season 2. Plus, I'm a big fan of Owen Wilson.
Love Owen Wilson.
I want to see him continue along with this universe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I am super excited about this new season of Loki. So, yeah, but they need to, like, tie it together a little bit and make it a more definitive. Someone out there, some geek get out there and just someone type this up for me and put it out in the internets.
Well, see, they
do
can't.
The whole timeline thing.
They can't even really do that yet, Shane, because all these people with like, well, that was what was it that they keep putting numbers to what universe or what timeline we're in?
Yeah, Earth 666.
Right,
and
exactly.
Stuff like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't like playing that game, whatever, and it's gonna probably get annoying to me at some point, but we'll see where it goes. But we're also the complaints we've had sometimes, especially with like say the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness version. There is more tie-ins now for other shows in with the movies and everything else. You have the Marvels coming out where you're going to kind of bleed in WandaVision, Ms. Marvel, and the Captain Marvel universe thing and tie all that together. And then now, I guess with Wakanda Forever, they're going to introduce Ironheart in there as well. So this balance keeps going back and forth. They're going to really go for it here where they're not separating church and state. And I think the toughest version for that with you, and you've said this all along, your boy Daredevil. And so I kind of want to like clear the lane to kind of talk about the She-Hulk part of this now, and then kind of the show part and maybe like where things are going to go for Daredevil, because there's been some chatter about like the tone of where things are going to go, and obviously it's all going to start in She-Hulk.
Yeah, this is a near and dear to my heart. And the She-Hulk little teaser trailer didn't give you much Daredevil. He had like one or two lines in there, I think. So I'm curious to see how they're going to use him. It looks like more for levity maybe in the She-Hulk series, since that's a lighter tone of a show.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly. I like the suit that he had, the more yellow tinge to it. I like that aspect to it. So with the She-Hulk thing, we both discussed off air. Tonally, this show is just, it's all over the place.
It is.
It's
It's herky-jerky. You never know what is important in an episode. There's no, like, themes. It's just,
right
here, this bananas thing is going to happen, this crazy timeline, whatever, this crazy either villain that they bring in for just an episode, or, what Wong's doing. Wong's becoming a bigger, more celebrated part, it seems like, more than She-Hulk itself. Then she's got her dating life. She's got the job thing. Like, it's just all over the place. And I don't have a lot to grab onto. It's not bad. And I thought this last episode was probably the best thing. But when a small character kind of, like Madison, gets more play than anything you've done. Yeah, it's not where you think. But yeah, that whole thing was funny and it was good. And this seemed more like what I thought the show was going to be like, but they had to add all the Marvelness into it, all the extra MCU part of it. We got to show, Bruce Banner. We got to show the origin story. We got to do all this extra layers of stuff that happened in the Hulk family. No, you don't. They could have started this literally from the jump where it's like, hey, I'm a superhero. I'm a lawyer. I defend superheroes. I defend supervillains. And we do all this every week. They could have done that. They didn't need to make this whole hullabaloo. There's not enough episodes to do all this. And it feels cramped. Right. And it feels, like you said, tonally all over the place.
Yeah. And like I said, the whole Madison and the Wonger, that was my favorite part of the last week. I was like, we need more of that.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
Yeah.
So, the trailer, I did have this question because, Matt Murdock, he's a sly fox. He's more of a ladies' man than you would think.
Right.
So, Jennifer threw out a line like, I'm really into this guy. So maybe, I don't know. Do you think there's going to be any bang, 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 bang?
I guess there could be. Again, so I want to kind of get into the tone of the Daredevil thing, because everybody, when the Netflix shows ended, and I'm speaking almost like exactly about you, the avatar for you, because everybody who was like, oh, how is Disney going to take a show that was so dark and then bring it officially into the MCU, right? And, especially where that show was heading, it was getting darker and darker almost as it went along. It's ultra violent. There's a lot of things that don't really fit the current MCU. And then there's already conversations with Charlie Cox. He was on they did a panel for a show that doesn't come out for 2 or 3 years down the line with Daredevil Born Again. And they're already talking about like the tone of that show and everything else. Meanwhile, there's not even a script, Shane. So
no.
I hate, this is the problem with not only the fandom taking over, that we need everything right now, but it's also a problem with figure all this shit out. get the scripts together, then sign Charlie Cox to something larger. I feel like they just begged him to be in She-Hulk and then was like, we'll reward you with a show later. And it just seems like it's just cart before horse.
Right. And I read the article that you sent me, and it was funny because he clearly says there's no script.
Right.
But then he goes on to say, with an 18-episode story arc, yeah, there's going to be more levity in it. There's going to be more lightheartedness in it, but it still will have its roots in that version from Netflix.
Right.
So, and I told you all along, that scares the shit out of me. Now, does it need to be that dark? I would like it to be that dark because, again, Netflix knocked that out of the park. But I do think with that 18 episodes is a lot, and that scares me because I
know.
Because all the rumors that you keep reading, John Bernthal is going to be back as Punisher. Like, how are you going to tone him down?
You can't.
Like, there's just so many elements that they're talking about with this Born Again series. We promise it's going to have that dark tone. I think it will have its lighter moments. I think you'll get an episode or two that's not as dark, but I'm so nervous. I guess I have to see who's attached to the writing assignment on this show, along with who's going to be directing the episode.
Sure.
Because for me, that'll go a long way. Because they haven't announced that at all, right? Like, who's going to be the showrunner for this one?
I think they might have. But again, if we don't have scripts yet, maybe I'm off base, but I don't have it off the top of my head now.
No, because I did hear a rumor where the John Wick director or someone attached to John Wick, like, volunteered to, like, direct some of these episodes, which
that would
again,
be cool.
for action scenes, would be cool. But we'll see. I just got a feeling they're gonna fuck this up, and I'm gonna be all kinds of upset for, like, every week we do the show when it's on.
Yeah. Well, this
might be pouty shame.
And we don't like pouty shame. So the thing is that Disney Plus has their own identity problem, kind of, where they're caught in between now. It's them, where they try to keep this kind of wholesome part, with Disney Plus, and then they're like, oh, if it gets too crazy, we'll put this on Hulu, or we'll, move it everywhere. But they only do that in America. Overseas, they just do the whole Hotstar thing. They blend all these things together. It's all on one platform. They don't sanitize it, or they don't sugarcoat it. They just say, hey, Netflix has kids programming, family programming, and ultra violent or ultra sexualized things all in one place. Why can't we? And yet they don't do that here. And I feel like the Marvel, starting with Doctor Strange, where they're like, this is a horror movie, which it wasn't. But the fact that they're like, oh, we're going to get darker and we're going to get weirder and we're going to maybe get more violent, that really is a tone shift that Disney has to reckon with. And Daredevil is a prime example. Do you see that kind of like being at a war of the worlds here?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I couldn't have said it any better myself. Like, all the properties they brought in from Netflix, supposedly all these characters coming back, and it's like, well, all those shows had darker tone, sex, violence with Jessica Jones and all that kind of stuff. And if you read the rumors how they want to make a street level show and combine like Daredevil with Moon Knight, it's like, well, I don't see. Like you said, I have no problem with Punisher being on Disney Plus, and you could throw it over to name a show, Loki. Like, I don't have a problem with that. Like you said, they don't do it in other countries. Netflix has adult shows and kids shows.
Yeah.
They need to, like you said, they need to reconcile the fact and just go for what worked. Because if it worked for Netflix, that's what people want. That's the version they want.
Right.
So just deliver the goods, Disney Plus.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the fact that they have that new what's it called? Like Werewolves at Night? Something. Did you see that?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
So
I did see that.
Apparently that character is involved in the Moon Knight universe. And so they're like, just when I heard that, I was like, no, we're not adding more. We'll keep doing this. Jesus Christ. Please make it stop. Moon Knight didn't work. Let's end it all. But yeah, so there were some positives coming out of D23. A lot of confusion as to where things are going. I mean, they're clearing up timeline stuff, but ultimately, like you said, they need a hit. They need a reason for me to like jump back into the fray.
Here's a surprise for me. One of the biggest takeaways from D23 is no Fantastic Four stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of close on that because you got that, and then obviously the mutant stuff is still delayed too. Between, are we getting X-Men stuff? Are we gonna add anything into that program? I guess somebody was talking about the Weapon X program, where
right.
Obviously that something along the lines of Captain America was the first, obviously, in terms of that kind of a program, the serum kind of thing, experimental stuff. And obviously Weapon X was the 10th. So I guess they're trying to maybe bridge that line, because I guess that's part of the comic books now, and maybe talk about the experiments in between and really get into some of those programs, which that's another thing we didn't talk about is the Captain America stuff, because that's all over the place now. We got the Thunderbolts cast was listed, where you have U.S. Agent and Bucky Barnes on the same team doing like kind of a Suicide Squad-esque mashup between heroes and villains doing certain assignments with a lot of people from various different universe, whether it's the Ant-Man universe, whether it's the Black Widow movies or anything else, all under one banner. And then on the other side, you have Captain America New World Order, where you have Anthony Mackie's Captain America going off in another direction, where I guess they're going to bring back, what was the guy? Bradley? The guy, the older black gentleman who was kind of
Bradley.
Yeah, who is, kind of like an original, Captain America soldier kind of thing in maybe that weapon program that they were going through.
Right.
So again, that might have gaps filled in between Captain America and Wolverine and everything in between. And now I'm rhyming, but but a lot of these things sound intriguing, but they're just everywhere. It's gonna, I don't know. It could either be awesome, where it's like we just get this flurry of like amazing content that comes through. And again, that's part of the thing of D23. It's part of the thing of Marvel. They're all show. And then when the show actually gets here or the movie gets here, you're like, oh, okay. Well, I guess this thing's coming up. And you kind of just refuel the hype train and keep it going. So between the Comic-Con stuff, the D23 stuff, there's a lot to talk about. But I need something to actually hit before that goes. And for my draft's sake, I'm hoping it's Wakanda Forever. But yes, no Fantastic Four. They just confirmed the director was in the audience. They have a director. They don't have cast news. They don't have any of that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what all that, and a lot of it's because the rights are all tied up still with the Fox deal and when they can do all this. So, I feel bad for them because there's such a thirst for all this stuff, but it just isn't happening, and it's not happening quite yet. And then they didn't do themselves any favors with the Doctor Strange.
The Illuminati.
Yeah. So, all that stuff didn't do them any favors with the Krasinski.
Which again, we discussed that a little bit earlier, and I'll bring it up again. They pulled the old okie doke because Reed Richards, which everyone wanted
Krasinski.
John as Reed Richards, and but he's Earth's 869's Reed Richards.
Exactly.
Fooled ya.
Yep.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, so, again, the multiverse is probably going to make me lose my mind before this thing is all said and through. So I think it's time to maybe get into a better timeline for us. Something a little more simple, a little more soapy, a little more cheesy, but something that definitely pleases us. And that is Cobra Kai, coming back for its 5th season. And this is something that I've been sitting on for a minute because I was lucky to get it early from Netflix and just,
Son of a bitch.
I know, I was just so happy to get that and be able, because whether at this point, right, season 5, like the fans are in, like if you're a fan, you're still here. The only thing is it's interesting about this particular season is that I feel like season 4 was a little tougher. Like the farther it goes out, it felt like maybe it was spinning its wheels a little bit, and there were certain certain themes, certain characters that were carrying over from season 4 into season 5 that had me concerned, because I was just either I didn't care or it was going to get way too soap opera-y, that I was just like, please don't mess this up. Please don't mess with what you have here, which is a nice little piece of, nostalgia porn for some, and then also just watching 20, 30 teenagers all beat their asses at the same time, which, who doesn't want that? That's exactly what was the Karate Kid spirit. But so the things that carry over, one, obviously Terry Silver taking over and pushing out Kreese, and Kreese going to jail. That I think we'll get into that in more detail, but that I didn't have as much of a problem. But Miguel going down to Mexico was something that I was just like, I don't care, and I don't know. And part of it's I have some problems with Miguel itself, but it strays away. And not only does it stray away, it took Johnny away. And to me, the part of the thing, and you can obviously tell me your opinion on this, the reason why the show was so good to start is because it was Johnny and a lot more Johnny and a lot more Johnny. And then as the show has progressed, they kind of sidelined Johnny, especially in season 4, and it really started to get away. This season needed more Johnny, and I feel like we got it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, to me, he's the heartbeat of this show. He's the heartbeat of this season. Like you said, it's the reason why we fell in love with the show, at least I did. And he's hysterical. Like, again, he is the heartbeat of the show. So when he's on screen, I love it. I love every scene he's in. It just works.
Right.
Like, and again, we'll get into it. It's honestly, the way every season starts, it takes me a while to get into the Daniel character, because I feel like he starts out always pretty lame in the seasons.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Right.
He kind of annoys me more than anything else.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. Like, get with it. But no, I liked, again, the whole Mexico thing. I'm glad they kept that to like 2 episodes, like an episode.
Yeah,
and a half.
not even fully. Yeah, but I agree, because to me, this show, it just whips by. So it's one of the most bingeable shows on television. And,
absolutely.
Because they know how to start and end episodes. And
yeah,
this particular thing, you're right. This whole season is like the fatherhood theme and that thread going throughout. I get it now why they kind of did it, but it was so not interesting compared to how the whole season kind of unfolded as it went along. But for Johnny's journey more than Miguel's, you needed to kind of have him go down and kind of save the day in a sense, or at least be there when Miguel figures his stuff out, and then also taking Robbie and fixing that relationship. And it's all about fathers and sons, which essentially is every 80s product. It's definitely what Karate Kid was, where Miyagi's kind of like a surrogate father, and then, Kreese was a surrogate father in a bad way for Johnny and this whole thing. And then obviously Terry Silver stepped in at one point, which before we get too in the weeds, do you just marvel as much as I do how much mileage they're getting out of characters from Karate Kid 3, which nobody really watches a lot or revisits because it's not that good?
It's not that good. But yeah, because Terry Silver, like you said, I'm kind of glad they sidelined Kreese for most of the season, because Terry Silver plays a good big bad.
He's better.
Like,
he's better. Let's just put it out there. He's a much better, because Kreese is street level. Terry Silver is global. He's smart. Right. He's rich. He's a Bond villain. They even mention it in one of the episodes. What was that Bond villain doing here? He is. That's what he is. He's got the ponytail. He's huge. Like, he is that guy.
Yeah, and he pulls it off, and that's what makes the show work this season too. And what I also like is, yeah, you had your kid fights. You did, but they made it more sensei heavy.
They did.
With Chosen back in the fold and working with Daniel.
Yeah.
I love Chosen in this show, man.
Chosen is the MVP of this season. He is 100% the MVP.
When they bring, like, again, you go back to Karate Kid 3, Michael Barnes. Even though he was only in a couple scenes, I liked him. And I liked him and Johnny together. Yeah. Like, when he mentioned he's the bad boy of karate. It's like, I thought that worked well together. They brought back Robin Lively, his girlfriend in that movie, just for like one episode. I was like, holy shit, they got her back too. Right. They made her like his wife's cousin or something like that.
Yeah. Am I right? I actually like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. They tie it in a nice way where they don't like beat you over the head with it. It's like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Right. and to make more of an understanding piece for Daniel too, because you need another person to be like, I have firsthand knowledge of how awful that situation was for him and how much it screwed him up, and that his cousin, or excuse me, his ex still had a lot of PTSD from that, and really, had her life threatened too. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack and a lot of things. They're getting so much mileage from Karate Kid 3. It just baffles me. But in a way, I wanted to kind of almost do this the way we did Stranger Things, where it was like MVPs. Do you agree with my assessment? I feel like Chosen is just the guy. Because he's perfectly in between all this other stuff, because he's centered. He gives like a certain gravitas and authenticity to like kind of the sensei version of these three guys. Yeah, he had the beef with Daniel, so he should be closer to Johnny, but he's just a skilled guy who is loyal. He's just perfect as this kind of in between Daniel and Johnny, and he crushes it.
Yeah, he's my MVP. I'm with you. I loved. He made me laugh. Like, he's funny. His whole demeanor. I liked his relationship. Like, again, I'm going to echo everything you just said, because he nailed it for me. Outside of Johnny, of course, but to me, it's him.
And the show knows it too, because they did so many things where he's pairing off with Silver more than anybody else. And even though he just got here, but it's because he kind of matches that energy of, someone more rooted in the history of either the dojos or the trainers, the original source material that these guys are all working off of. He's obviously from Japan, so he has something more to do with a lot of everybody's little pieces. But even though he only came from Karate Kid Part 2 and the Miyagi-Do and the whole facing off as being like kind of the Asian Johnny to a lesser extent, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. He just worked. He was funny. He was, him being drunk, at times to like counteract his, more composed demeanor all the time was just exactly what the show needed. And it's very 80s, which for
absolutely.
So, whatever. People could say maybe it's not the nicest portrayal. I think they're very careful with this show, where they give you just enough of what it was like, but also showing how we've evolved in the last 30, 40 years.
Now, they do a really good job of balancing all that out, as we pointed out. And I also, maybe sometimes I don't like it, but they do give each character a time to shine throughout this series, so they don't stay laser focused on one character too long before they spin it in another direction.
Yeah.
Going back to the Chosen thing, like, I like how they tied in that story and go like, hey, my uncle knew the guy who taught Terry Silver. Like,
right.
They made sense of that. I'm like, okay, that makes perfect sense. So
yeah.
Even though I wish there was more Johnny in this season, but they do give shine to all these characters.
For sure. And okay. Is there anything that bothered you with this season though? Where does season 5 kind of rank? Do you think you agree with my assessment that maybe 4 they were started to spin the wheels and they brought it back, or is it kind of just another season on top of the fire for this one?
No, to me, season 4 was a slight step back. It was still solid, but I was like, okay,
sure,
where are they going with some of these story angles? But to me, they picked this one back up, and I think it's their best season, at least for
probably
the last
since
couple
2
seasons. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
What bothered me is I'm not a big Miguel fan. I don't really care much for that character.
Yeah. Why is he always crying? Like, if I had to pick an avatar for what like Miguel looks like, it's Miguel is always crying. Sam's hair is always wet. There's just these certain aspects, Hawk, he has a different colors every time, of his mohawk. There's certain things that they just, when I close my eyes and I picture them, that's what they are. And Miguel is always crying.
Right. And honestly, it's because of their age. Some of the fights between the senseis, like, oh God, they're so slow moving.
I know. Which, by the way, adds to the Chosen thing, because he moves. For an older guy, that dude moves. Or at least whoever's supposed to be chosen. It looks good. Let's put it that way.
Right. But when Terry Silver got in some of his fight scenes, like his leg kicks were like maybe going 6 inches off the floor.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It
okay,
gets
whatever.
Seagal-ish real quick.
Yeah, very much so. It gets Seagal-ish.
Yeah.
I liked Robbie's story arc in this particular season.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't care too much for the kids. Like, I really don't.
Right.
That might be like the weakest part of the show.
Sure.
But I understand they have to do it.
Yeah, because that's
But
the
I like
soapy part. Yeah.
Right. I like the Tori angle on this season as well, how she kind of came around full circle. Again, the Kreese stuff was kind of weak, especially him in prison and the guy getting him Jello cups and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And honestly,
and he ends up.
Yeah, I could deal without the Sinatra and all that stuff, dude. That whole thing, I'm doing it my way. Him escaping prison. It would just seem so easy to escape prison.
It does, and I'm like, did you think this through? Like, I don't know. I don't know where they're going with that. Like, they know what he looks like. They know where he hangs out.
Yeah.
So it's like, where are you really going, man?
I know.
Like,
yeah. Which, by the way, we'll talk about that, because I didn't know whether this was going to be the last season or not. And the fact that they're kind of leaving doors open and looking like 6 is happening, I want to kind of talk about that in a sec. But there's a few things I wanted to throw out to you first. One, holy shit, is this season just more chaotic, violent, and everything. Like you said, the kids are one thing, but the adults are playing real games. And the one thing that I laugh about is that there are clearly... the cops are the worst in the valley somewhere because you never really see them until it's like at the very, very end. You would think they'd be on high alert knowing all this stuff has kind of been going on. Kreese is in jail. Wouldn't you think that the Cobra Kai dojo should have like some kind of target on their back, something? But yeah, nothing. The police surveillance of this whole situation is awful. And then for Mike Barnes to have his furniture store burned down and everything else, I was like, good Lord, this show is getting intense.
It is, and it really is. Like, going back to the Chosen fight, like that was real stakes, man. Like,
yeah,
they didn't pull any punches with that stuff.
No,
I mean they really went for it.
Yeah,
a lot more blood. Yeah, and I do like the Michael Barnes, man. I did like the scenes he was in, like when he stole a limo.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
like. It was good, man. I liked all the cheese. Like this show, like you said, has just the right amount of cheese in this show.
All right, so
where they don't like kill you with it.
Speaking of that, I got 2 for you that I'm like, when I watch these scenes, I'm like, somewhere Shane is just smiling ear to ear. The first one, the Top Gun dream. Speak on it, my man. When you watch it, like, because once I watch it with the captions a lot. Once it said playing with the boys as with the music symbols, I was like, oh god, this is gonna get intense. I wonder how much they planned that before Top Gun was going to be coming out, or how that all went. Ooh. But man, talk about timing.
Good question. That's a good question. I didn't even put that together.
I know, because you figured they had to be filming. Maybe they knew because it was going to come out, but they couldn't have known it was going to be that big of a hit. But to bring it all back, that's actually great timing.
That was great timing. No, that was a great scene. It did make me smile ear to ear on that. Like, I just...
did you like that it was Carmen's dream and not Johnny's?
Actually, I didn't mind. I didn't mind that it was Carmen's scene because it kind of shows you that connection that they're growing over the show.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Carmen was in this season just a little bit more, and you got to see more of that relationship with Johnny and how he's evolving.
Yeah.
As much as he can.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the scene where he bought Robbie the FBI shirts, I still laughed at. I'm like, that is so 80s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? And the look Robbie gives him, like, really? I was like, come on, man.
And the montage of cleaning his apartment and everything else,
right?
Like taking down the babes and putting on what was it, a lighthouse that he from Narragansett or whatever, and then all the roaches in his house. Like, it was just so cartoonish and comical, but like, isn't every 80s montage? So like, I thought that worked for what the show is. But the other one that I thought of with you was Johnny trying to broker peace by taking them to Olive Garden, and then like and then they call it back later with, after they all fight and everything else, they still eat Olive Garden. They're like, God, you weren't kidding about these breadsticks.
Kidding about these breadsticks.
Yeah. Something about Olive Garden and this like fake authenticity thing being the favorite thing of Johnny Lawrence is so perfect that it's something that I didn't think I needed, and I loved every second.
Yeah, the fact that he treats Olive Garden like a 5-star Italian restaurant.
Yes.
I mean, it just, that is him. That's him in a nutshell, man.
Yeah.
Like, and it just added to his, just added to his character even more, man. I was dying, when he saw how good the breadsticks were. He's like, you got to try these.
And that waiter, when he's like, if you want to go to Tuscany, you go do this, you do this. And then he's like, and then the chocolate lasagna. Well, that's American, but you get my, it was so perfect. Because again, Olive Garden is a place that like subtly, like everybody just laughs about, but we also kind of disagree that the breadsticks bring you back. And it's such a dumb product to be like, that's the thing that brings you back to go eat there. Shouldn't it be the food? Like the main food?
No, it's like
it's just the stuff they put on the table before you eat.
Right. It's like, and to a lesser effect, it's like Little Caesars. People go there for the crazy bread. They don't go there for the cardboard pizza. It's the crazy bread.
Exactly.
This is something we shouldn't be so excited about. Like, it's just bread.
Well, if anything, all those places are like quantity over quality, and in a way that's very Johnny Lawrence. And and the music stuff is still kicking. By the way, I for nobody cares, but I love the fact that this show inspired me so much. I made a playlist on Spotify. I love making playlists, and I made a playlist that I labeled Johnny Lawrence, and all it is like, Van Halen and Dokken and Rat, and like as soon as he was like, I made like kind of like a mixtape for the baby, like whatever that's to come here with Carmen or whatever, and she's like, yeah, definitely more Metallica and all this stuff. I was like, that's great to see what Carmen, but it also inspired me. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I really have like an 80s hard rock playlist. It kind of just mixes in with my other 80s playlist, and I'm like, maybe I should just make one and call it Johnny Lawrence, and I did because I'm a nerd.
That's a good idea though. That's pretty good. Do you throw some? But just make sure you got some Cinderella in there because he was rocking that T-shirt during the show too.
It's true. I've been trying to go through that era because I have slightly different tastes than Johnny Lawrence, so I tried to bridge the gap between like, yeah, I'm into this, but maybe I should try more of this. So, hey, if that's anything for Cobra Kai has done in general, is it made me go back and watch the Karate Kid movies again. It's made me go back and listen to different hard rock from the era because I was born in 82. So I got various levels over the years, but obviously I wasn't ultra immersed in that. I was more of a grunge and 90s rock alternative kid, growing up. So it's nice to kind of go back and fully inhale the 80s again.
Oh, absolutely. I was pre-grunge, so it was more like what Johnny would listen to, hair band.
Sure.
Like hair metal. That was the thing. So
Yeah.
I was all into that scene. So yeah, it just warms my heart when I'm watching this show.
Absolutely. So any other stuff before we get into like the look ahead here?
Oh, man. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting something like we always do during the show. We always remember something off air that was awesome, and we never put it in.
Well,
so
here, how about this one? I did miss this. So the end. I mean, we could kind of make that as part of a pitching point. Is there any man on earth who got laid harder than Daniel LaRusso after whooping somebody's ass in front of his wife, his kids, and everybody, just taking down a dude at that age after they've been drinking all night? Who gets laid harder than Daniel LaRusso in that moment?
Nobody.
No. Nobody.
Nobody.
I mean, because again, Johnny did all his work off screen. He was at Silver's place. So, which by the way, I shouldn't have to say spoilers. We've been kind of just dripping and drabbing the whole thing, but whatever. If you're into this conversation, you shouldn't have hung out this long, I guess. I don't know. But so he's doing all that work at Silver's, him and Chosen and Barnes. They're all in someplace else. He's doing it right in the heart, right with everybody watching, stepped up to the plate. That dude is getting everything. He is getting it in. As She-Hulk would put it, Daniel LaRusso fucks, all right? This guy is getting it on after a fight like that, right? Because Silver ruin their lives, and he just gets to take them down all at once.
Yeah, not only did he ruin his lives, but he whooped his ass earlier in the season.
Oh, yeah.
Like pretty bad.
Yeah, there was
for him
no
to
good
step
shots
up,
on him.
No, and for him to dispatch him the way he dispatched him during that scene, he's bringing it all in that night.
Yeah, and they brought everything back from Karate Kid 3. This is insane. They just cherry picked the perfect things to bring back. I'm so impressed with this season, even though there are parts where I'm just like, all right, I love you, Chosen, and I understand the whole egg thing had to mean something later, but like there are whole episodes where I'm just like, this is kind of lame. But again, you deal with it because you know it's going to pay off at some point later on. But yeah, there's certain episodes that just didn't work.
Isn't that the master stroke of the showrunner here to pick the worst Karate Kid movie and make it the best part of the season?
Yes.
That's genius.
And using Terry Silver. Like, the fact that
Yes.
we just keep upping the villains, but the villains are from the older pieces. We didn't add anything. And that's what... Okay, so maybe now we can kind of pitch it forward. So, Terry Silver's out of the picture, which sucks, because I like... Well, I mean, he's in jail, so I mean, he's as out of it as whatever you're going to do. Maybe Kreese steps up to the plate and makes amends or what have you to bring them all back in again. But, so Kreese breaks out of jail. Terry Silver's going to jail. And all the kids in Cobra Kai know that Terry Silver and Kreese are assholes. Where do we go from here? At least, like, at the end of season 4, I was like, all right, well, we still have this. And now I'm like, what do we have here? Did you feel like did we need a season 6 and should it have just ended here?
I'm going to go, as much as I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it, they probably should have ended it after season 5.
I think so, too.
Because I honestly don't know where they're going. Because look at all the relationships. Robbie and Miguel are buddies. Tori and Daniel LaRusso's daughters they all patched everything up.
Yep.
All the Cobra Kai kids know how much of an asshole Terry Silver was. Again, he's in jail. So what do you got to focus on? Johnny being a father? Doesn't really...
Yeah,
you can make an episode out of that, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have that, and then you have Kreese out of prison doing God knows what.
Yeah.
He should be going to the Lamb, but I don't think he will.
Yeah.
So it really left you hanging with, like, where do they logically go? On season 6, I have no idea.
Because, again, like most of these seasons, it also put, Daniel's, his marriage to the limit. It took all that to the limit. Johnny's growing up where he doesn't want to be as involved. They really had to kind of coax him back in. Barnes is obviously in and out. The only thing I can think of is Kreese would have to do something alarmingly dangerous. But also, how does the... So... I guess what it is it's going to be what is it? I'm blanking on that big tournament, the Sentai, Hentai, whatever it's called.
Hentai, Tangy, Tangala, Shalala.
Sure. It like almost says the same word twice. It's like the Hentai, Sentai, or something, whatever it's called. So
right.
Obviously you have that massive tournament where both of those dojos got in, but you figure Cobra Kai's got to be out of that tournament because of, if your sensei goes to jail, he's the guy who brokered the whole thing, so how does that work? Do the kids get to stay in and maybe Kreese goes, hey, I'm vindicated because this asshole went to jail. Everybody knows he set me up or whatever. And he is cleared and he gets to do it. But he also broke out of prison, which is a no-no, even if you're doing good. So he would have to get off. I don't know, in some way, and they have to go obviously overseas again, is my guess.
Right. Oh God,
that sounds expensive for Netflix. I would be, in a way, I'd be shocked if they do that, but they'd have to mock it somehow to make it cheap,
Right, and even if they do bring Terry Silver back, do we want to go down that rabbit hole of him doing the whole Globo Gym domination thing again? I'm done with that storyline. It didn't work. So I don't want them to rehash that storyline again.
But it's almost all you got.
I know.
I mean, that woman who he worked with, that was, I guess, his
the granddaughter of.
Yes. So of the main sensei that he learned all his stuff from. So she's still around. She's not in jail. She could take up some of the like more nastier people in Cobra Kai and still take them into the tournament. But yeah, I don't get it. And Lord knows I do not want to see something like, because they couldn't come up with a name. They were all on one side with this whole Eagle Fang, Miyagi-Do thing. So I don't want that to become like, this is where Johnny and Daniel go away again and then have to come back again. That'd be boring to me. So
Right.
I don't know. It just, they'd have to really cook something up to really kind of land all these plot lines. But they did such a good job with this season. I almost wish like Kreese did try to escape jail and then got stabbed and died, and then like Silver goes to jail, and here we are. Everybody gets to kind of just, some of these kids got to graduate high school at some point and actually move on with their lives. Yeah. And then we get Cobra Kai The College Years comes out in a few years, and then we'll go with that, right?
Right. It worked for Saved by the Bell. Did it, though? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have the Malibu Beach Club season and everything else. We'll do whatever, They already have country club stuff here, That we'll make it work.
Yes.
And they ran out of movies. We're not getting Jaden Smith.
I was just
We're not going to get not Hilary Swank. We're not getting Hilary Swank in this. So, I don't know.
Well, have you seen what she's up to lately? We probably could get Hilary Swank to make an appearance in here.
I know, but it has nothing to do with LaRusso, though. So I wonder.
They got the Miyagi tie-in, though.
It's fair. I'm not revisiting that one. I'm sorry. Revisiting part 3 is enough.
So what do you want to rate this show?
This season?
This season.
Yeah, I'd probably say it's the best I've felt since it first started. I would probably give it at least a 4. I'd say 4 is solid. To where it's like, it's got enough problems to where I'm not going to go over the moon, but I'm also going to say it did bring me back into the show, because I'll tell you, when season 4 ended, my wife was out. She's out. Like, we watched the whole thing up until this point, and I said, like, hey, I got season 5 early, want to watch it? And she's like, I'm out. And then
she should.
I started like giving her drips and drabs of what's going on. She's like, so what's going on? And then I think she'd be in. Now that it's out, I'm waiting for her to just go, so I watched it, because again, it'll bring you back in. It does the job. So
it does the job. So I also give this a 4. On the Shane rating scales, this is something you could get naked to with a big bucket of Velveeta cheese and tortilla chips and just live your life while you're watching this show.
That's it.
Let the cheese drip, baby. Let it drip.
And make that playlist, everybody. Make your mixtapes.
Right.
Because it's bringing every 80s awesomeness back. And, come on, you get LaRusso doing the crane kick. That's all you needed.
Yeah.
That's all you needed. And he fucking does it. Blowing up Silver. So everybody's good, except Miguel. He kind of sucks. And then, that poor kid. I listened to another podcast, The Town with Matt Bellamy, that I love, the guy from Puck News. And they talked about like certain actors and actresses who like are under a certain age level that might go on to bigger careers. And they brought up Miguel as like the one of that group that might go on. I'm like, he's the worst. He might be the worst. Although I will say, because this always happens with the Stranger Things kids. They're always like, oh, who do you think will still have a career, or are they just this show and then they're done? They did that with the It kids. They did that with the Stranger Things kids. If I was to take anyone from this show, who would you take? If of all the like kind of young stars of this show, who do you think has it going forward?
Oh, man. That's a great question.
And God help us all if these kids think I'm karate action star now and make more stuff. Because I don't think that's the part of this show that makes the most sense.
Here's who I can see. This may surprise you, because I can see her doing a bunch of Hallmark movies. Samantha LaRusso, the actress who plays Samantha. I can see her just slipping into that Hallmark Christmas catalog movies. Her and Candace Burr, Cameron, whatever she calls herself these days.
Pavel Bure's wife.
I'm going Samantha. Yeah. I'm going Samantha.
Interesting. Yeah, I kind of dig that. I kind of agree with you there, because I've seen a lot of these kids in other stuff. and I didn't fully buy in. But a name like Mary Mouser, that's her name, that does actually work well for like Hallmark, Lifetime, Christmas movie. Yeah, you're right. Like people who left Full House, what did they do, right? Or like these sitcom people,
Right.
sort of. Yeah, that kind of works. And Tanner Buchanan did He's All That. It was not great, and obviously he's working with an Instagram model turned actress in that one, so you got that whole what did he have a lot to work with? Is this even a good script, a good project? Did he just take a money thing? What does that mean? And then Peyton List, she seems to be in it's Tori Nichols, she seems to be in a bunch of like horror movies, sort of.
Right, I can see that.
I could see that too, but she's not great in those either.
No.
So I don't know. Yeah, but I think she's been other like CBS series and other Disney stuff before. I think that's maybe how she crossed over into this anyway. But yeah, what did I see? She's got The Inheritance coming up this year, which is I believe a kind of a more horror thriller. Oh, well, she was in Hubie Halloween, which, there you go. She climbed out of that one. I think that's maybe what I saw her in, but I thought I saw that she came out through she had other horror movies coming through, but maybe it was just The Inheritance. But who knows? Like, basically, she's not going to be Sadie Sink. Let's put it that way. She is not going to be the person who moves forward with that. So, but I think you might be right. I think we're going to look back and it might just end up being, Mary Mouser doing a little bit of like Netflix cheesy stuff, those kind of, Lifetime-ish, Hallmarky kind of stuff and see where it goes. But that's fine.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm so glad that this season went the way it did, brought us all back, super positive, and, we'll see what they have for us in season 6, as we were saying. But, TV is just awesome right now. And I feel like movies are about to hit all that. I'm loving Lord of the Rings right now, which has its own dumb controversies like the Little Mermaid thing. Everybody needs to stop being racist, please. It's exhausting. House of the Dragon still kicking. I'm just enjoying stuff. Are you into anything right now? Have you been catching up on stuff or anything?
I am loving House of the Dragon right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Way more than I thought, because I was a big Game of Thrones fan, and I was like, do I really want to see something that took place a little bit beforehand? But no, episodes 3 and 4 really started kicking that show into gear. I'm like, okay.
For sure.
It's on.
Yeah.
It's on. So right now, that's the show that I'm paying most attention to right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, we got a few things. I don't know if you have Showtime to watch your Bernthal boy be an American Gigolo, but, and by the way, Pinocchio, but got raked over the coals over the weekend. Nobody seemed to like that movie, and I've seen people give it F grades and everything else.
Wow.
So sorry, D23. That was probably not a high point of what people were talking about, but I am looking forward to this upcoming weekend. Tomorrow night, I'll be watching Clerks 3, so maybe we'll touch on that next week. But a lot of horror. I'm thinking we're going to do maybe a horror episode or more heavy horror leaning because Barbarian, as we noted, came out. Pearl, the X prequel, comes out this weekend. The Retaliators, which is a more low-budget movie, but it's got like a soundtrack with all like these metal guys, like between the new metal stuff and some of the older guys, like Tommy Lee's in the movie, the guy from Five Finger Death Punch and Papa Roach and all these other people. So it's an interesting mix. So I'm going to watch that as well. Goodnight Mommy comes out on Prime. So that's horror stuff that's happening too. So yeah, we'll see, man. There's a lot of stuff, and maybe we can look forward to some of the other ones that are coming through or recap. I watched No Exit on Hulu, trying to catch up with my horror, and I enjoyed that. I could say people should at least check that out. It has its own issues, but I enjoyed it. But yeah, man, it'll be a nice little thing maybe to check in with horror before we get into more of the either Oscar-y stuff or maybe back into the Disney takeover of things before we get into the Halloween season. So this was great, man. Sorry that Chris couldn't be here this week, but hopefully he enjoys this episode, and hopefully you guys did too. Be sure to come back next week when we have more recent activity.